Welcome to Unmasked, where we take off the filters to get real about faith, failure, and finding freedom. I'm your host, Wesley, a dad, veteran, author, and a man who's learned that God does his best work in the middle of our mess. Each episode will have honest conversations with people who've walked through addiction, pain, or doubt, and with pastors, leaders, and everyday believers who are learning to live and lead authentically. So take a breath, pull up a chair, and let's get real. This is Unmasked. Today, we're talking about something that every single one of us deals with, even if we pretend we don't, and that is change. Not the I should eat healthier kind of change, not the let me get organized this weekend kind of change. I'm talking about the kind of change that reshapes your life from the inside out. Your thinking, your habits, your spiritual walk, your patterns, your relationships, and your emotional health. The change that costs something. The change that stretches you. The change that reveals what's going on in your heart. This morning, I read a devotional that laid out the 5 stages of change, and it hit me hard, in the best way though. It named something that I've seen in my own life, in my healing, in my recovery, in coaching others and talking to others, and it's something that I want to share with you. The 5 stages are you ready? Stage 1 is I'm not ready to change. Stage 2, thinking about change. Stage 3, ready to change. 4 is taking action, and 5 is maintaining the change. If you've ever wondered why is this taking me so long, or why do I keep slipping back into the same old struggles, what we're talking about today is going to give you some clarity and freedom. Because here's the truth that many of us don't like to admit. People don't change because somebody told them they should. People change when they're internally ready. And that includes us. So today I want to walk you through each stage, not as theory, but through the lens of your faith, your identity, and your story. So let's dive in. Stage 1, not ready to change. I don't want to talk about it. This is the stage that most of us have lived in much longer than we care to admit. When I battled my addiction with pornography and in anger and people pleasing, I lived in this stage for years. I wasn't ready to say the truth out loud. I wasn't ready to admit that my life was fractured. I wasn't ready to deal with my behavior and what it said about the condition of my heart. Stage 1 looks like, it's not that bad. I'll stop when things settle down. I can handle this. Everyone struggles with something. I'm fine. I can stop whenever I want to. Let me tell you, I'm fine is a lie straight from the pit of hell. Stage 1 is the place of avoidance. We're numb. We hide. We distract. We justify. And God, in all of his patience, waits. In Psalms 32, 3-4, it describes this stage perfectly. When I kept silent, my bones wasted away. Your hand was heavy on me. Not because God is cruel, but because silence suffocates the soul. Listen, being not ready doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, but staying there, that's when we lose the years that we'll never get back. In stage 2, you start thinking about change. You're saying something needs to shift, but I'm scared. This stage is holy ground. It's where awareness begins to grow. It's where conviction gently taps us on the shoulder. It's where denial begins to crack. You're still doing the thing, but you don't feel the same way while doing it. Your spirit knows that something is not right, and this is where God begins to whisper, I have more for you than this. Stage 2 feels like Stage 2 feels like restlessness, conviction, discomfort, curiosity, grief over what your life has become. It also feels like the first spark of hope. In Celebrate Recovery, we call this stage where the fog begins to lift. The addiction or your behavior isn't comforting anymore. It's more like a chain that you're suddenly aware of. But you know what? Here's what's beautiful. God does some of his most important work here. Before you ever take a step, he begins to soften your heart. He reveals the truth, he shows you patterns, and he invites honesty. Most people misunderstand this stage. They think, why am I not changing yet? But this stage is change. It's the beginning of it. In James 1:5, it says, if any of you lacks wisdom, ask God, and it will be given to you. This stage is where we begin asking real questions, and God starts giving real answers. In stage 3, We're finally ready to change. We're saying, I'm done living like this. Readiness isn't emotional. It's eternal. It's the moment that something shifts in you. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's dramatic. Sometimes it's born out of pain. Sometimes it's exhaustion. And sometimes it's a revelation. But it's always a turning point. In stage 3, it sounds like enough is enough. I'm tired of being tired. I don't want this to be my story anymore. I want freedom. For me, this happened after years of cycles, shame, confession, trying harder, falling harder, and pretending that everything was fine. One night I remember crying, God, I can't do this anymore. And for the first time I meant it. Readiness doesn't mean that you know what to do. It just means you've reached the end of pretending. Even though I cried that out many times, God, I can't do this anymore. There was always something holding me back internally. I wasn't ready to move to the next stage. But this moment is important. This moment where you finally cry that out and mean it is the moment like the prodigal son that came to his senses. When he finally admitted that he was not able to do things himself and he returned home to his father. Sometimes people think that this is victory, but readiness is only the doorway. There's still a lot of work ahead, but now your heart is aligned with it. Now you're ready to move into stage 4. And stage 4 is where you start to take action. It's where you say, I'm moving even if it's messy. This is where transformation starts to become visible. This is when you finally tell somebody the truth. You throw away anything that feeds your struggle. You start attending Celebrate Recovery or counseling, or both. For me, it was both. You start setting boundaries. You stop rationalizing your sin. You invite accountability. You build new habits. You let people into the parts of your life that you've kept locked up. Action is not glamorous. It's humbling, it's disruptive, and it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. This is where old patterns fight back. You find yourself thinking, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe I should slow down. And your old habits are whispering, come on, just one more time. The enemy is whispering, you'll fail anyway. Your brain whispers, change is too hard. But God is whispering a lot louder. He's saying, I am with you. In Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not because you're strong, but because he steps into your weakness. Action is where your obedience meets grace. And now that you're taking action, you have to maintain the change. You have to say to yourself, I'm committed for the long haul. Most people don't relapse in the action phase. They relapse in this maintenance phase, the part that nobody talks about. Why? Because maintaining change is exciting. Because maintaining change is not exciting. It requires consistency, vigilance, humility, community, accountability, prayer, boundaries. It requires you to say things to yourself like, I still need support. I'm still working on this. I'm not strong enough to do this alone. It requires you to continue going to recovery meetings, even though you're free of whatever it is that you're trying to quit. Maybe it's your addiction to pornography. Maybe it's your addiction to food. Maybe it's your self-esteem that's finally rebounded and you're feeling good about yourself. And so you're saying, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need these programs anymore. I can continue on my own. The maintenance stage, the maintaining the change stage is saying to yourself and admitting to yourself that I can't do this alone. I still need that community, that support. I still need to work on it and have people to keep me accountable and push me along and be there for me, support me. Maintenance isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. In Proverbs 4:23, it says, above all else, guard your heart. Not once, not occasionally, but continually. Maintaining change means staying connected to God, staying rooted in Scripture, staying honest with the people in your life, in your corner, staying obedient when you don't feel like it, staying alert to triggers, and staying grateful for grace. Change isn't a moment, it's a lifestyle. And maintenance is where lasting freedom is built brick by brick. So where are you today? Before we start talking about other people, like your kids or your spouse or your small group or the people that you lead, we need to face this truth. You can't change what you refuse to acknowledge. So right now, I invite you to take inventory. Where are you? Are you in stage 1 and still avoiding? Or are you in stage 2 you're starting to feel convicted. Or maybe you're in stage 3 where you're ready to start taking some action. Perhaps you're in stage 4 where you're now starting to take action. Or maybe you're already in stage 5. You've taken action, you've admitted that you need something, and now you're fighting to maintain it. Whatever your stage you're in, be honest. God can work with honesty. He can't work with denial. And here's the best part. Every stage is holy ground because God is with you in all of them. He doesn't wait for you at the finish line. He walks with you in the process. So here's your challenge for this week. And I want you to actually do this. It's really easy to listen to somebody talk on a podcast or a YouTube show or wherever you are and just let it go in one ear and out the other. But I invite you to actually take this step. I want you to identify one area of your life where you're ready to see real change and name the stage that you're in. Write it down, say it out loud, tell somebody that you trust, and then pray something like this. God, help me to take the next step toward the life that you have created me for. Give me the courage, honesty, and a willing heart. You don't need to leap. You just need to step, and God will meet you there. Be encouraged. Know that change is hard, but it's worth it. It's worth every step, so start taking them. Thanks for joining me today on Unmasked. If this episode encouraged you, would you take a moment to follow, rate, and share it with somebody who you think could benefit from hearing it? For more encouragement and information on having me speak at your church or events, or my coaching services, visit wesleyfarnsworth.com. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Until next time, remember that grace is greater than your past, and freedom begins when we live unmasked. God bless you.